Greetings and welcome to another edition of Top 10 Worst of Lists. The best in worst of lists is recognized by the Top 10 Worst of List Consortium, the globally recognized adjudicating body of Top 10 Worst of Lists. I'm your host for today's Odyssey. My name is Ron Devu, and what a pleasure it is to be here once again to go on a ride together. A ride towards a glowing orb of cognizance and a penetrating energy of pure liberation. We live in a society, don't fight it. This show is designed to break out of the bonds of our subjugation, to toss off the yoke of our oppressors, and make a joyous response to the negativity and pathology of our ruling overlords. It's about liberation. It's about creating our own path in this world. It's about utilizing our own strength of purpose, resolve to grow our intelligence and utilize the empowerment of our facilities and feelings, our emotive strength, our ability to be able to have courage of our convictions, to realize all of the lies and all of the tools that they use in the path of our subjugation, and toss them aside like they were nothing, like they were worthless pieces of trite garbage that we see through like they were transparent. It'd be like, that's a lie. That's an obfuscation. That's a social engineering. So that we can see the extent of their malicious endeavor to compromise our souls and our spirits at a level where we're not even really human anymore. Yeah? And today's Top 10 Worst of list is just another step in the miseducation of Lauryn Hill, if you will. We have to unlearn everything that we've learned, relearn the way things are that we should have learned, then use that to try to free everybody from the bonds of their servitude. And then we take it from there. I don't know what happens after that, really. I've only worked it out in my mind as far as just the liberation part. What happens next is a little bit, I don't know, nebulous. But let's get right down to it, shall we? I don't want to be coy. I don't want people to think that I'm trying to, just provide a lot of bluster and fury without, the real meat and potatoes of the matter. And today's Top 10 Worst of list is Top 10 Worst Pet Names. Now, look, some of the, more conformist elements of our society are the names that we choose for ourselves and those around us. How many people have you known who've been, sort of have these, conventional names like Tom or Sven, and how that sort of the names clause into their spirit so that they become a Sven. And you meet a Sven or a Stuart, and you're like looking at them like going like, eh. And you're like, you're praying that none of their boringness rubs off on you. And you sit there and go like, eh, or something like that, something of that nature. That's why names are so important. That's why a lot of people are going with, like all kinds of like fancy names, Blue Ivy and Roderick and Pensacola, so that they can have, sort of just be colorful from the top, from the rooter to the tutor. And why shouldn't we have like those types of things? And that's why we're doing top 10 worst of dog names, pet names. Sorry, I suppose dogs would be part of the category, so I wasn't completely wrong. But that's because if we continue just be like Rover and Spot and Seamus for our dogs, we're going to just get more and more bland. And bland is a big part of the problem. Blandness. George Blanda, should be the... Why don't we name all of our kids George? Hey, George. Hey, George. Ugh. Tony and George. I mean, my son George, my other son Tony. Nah. It's too horrible to even conceptualize. And a word like that, the living would envy the dead. So I'm here. I think we start and, we like put our toes in the water. We don't have to name our kids. Start with that. I mean, that's a big sort of leap. Not a lot of people are willing to be courageous in today's day and age. They're like, oh my God, courage. So I get it. You don't want to start a bridge too far. I'm not here to just try to, like, through a force of will and dominating spirit, paint you in a corner. All right? I want you to survive. I want you to thrive. I want you to leapfrog over the tops of your pathetic, pathological overlords. Oh, yeah. Wouldn't it be so much fun? But anyway, that's why I want you to start off with pet names. I think it's a nice little sort of, oh, Jesus freaking God. It's a nice little baby steps type of philosophy here. And I'm totally like a big baby steps guy. All right, so here we go with the top 10 worst pet names. Well, before we do that, I just want to make sure that you know that I can't be trusted. I'm going to say perhaps some things that might go against the sort of like common knowledge. And you'll be like, who is this? What does this guy think he is? And stuff like that. So there might be things that, these are my opinions, first of all. And secondly, my opinions are no better than anybody else's. So I'm not out here trying to say, like, this is the only way to go. I'm saying this is one way to go so I can try to help liberate your mind so that you're not, like, sort of stuck in a rut with your ass cheeks permanently wedged into the couch cushions. And I think that it could be, at the same time, could be, a little fun and wacky. I mean, what the hell? It's just a freaking pet. It's not like, I know that you want to personify your pets and treat them like family and stuff like that, but that's part of your, sort of like the damaged goods that they've infused into you through years of brainwashing and social engineering. Your pets are just animals that don't kill you. They're not, and everything that we mistake for love and devotion, everything, that's bullink. If you got removed from the picture and replaced with some other jerk off, and the pet for like maybe a couple weeks would be a little confused and maybe not quite as responsive. to the new jerk off and the old jerk off, aka you. But eventually, after a couple weeks, it'd be like, like same difference. Oh, the new jerk off's here. New jerk off. Oh, I love new jerk off. New and improved jerk off. Part sponsored by the top 10 worst of lists. But anyway, I digress. And I'm also not a partisan hack. I'm just out there just let you know that I'm going to be, judging people on who they are, not what they are. And, we can paint broad brushstrokes and, hate each other and create and give in to the hate mechanisms that they've laid like bear traps all throughout our culture and society. These are, people who are in control of everything we see and hear, everything. And they've got it scripted. And they've been doing this for 6,000 years since the beginning of civilization, when these compromised moral skullduggery was first introduced into our society in the first days of since we gave up hunter-gathering. So they know what they're doing. And they paid the most advanced psyops pros who know how to just completely turn your brain into mush and make you more under their control than a robot would be. We're robots, okay, for the ruling elite, and you don't know what you're up against. And you'll see so much and become so confusing and negative. You know it's negative, but you don't know how to get rid of the negativity. And so you're like, oh, no kings. That sounds great. Let's go march with no kings. Well, who the hell are no kings? Who are those guys? Right? And just because they tell you to march every 6-8 months or whatever it is, it doesn't mean that they're making anything better. It gives you an excuse to do nothing. Oh, well, let's go out and party like nothing's wrong. Something's wrong. There's a lot of things like deeply wrong. And going and feeling like you're being a part of the liberation by continuing to do local shows or continuing to do, and I'm not talking about side pieces, I'm talking about where people are like, having David Byrne does a Broadway show as a tribute to Imelda Marcos, right? And that still goes on, and we're like looking at him, and then he like sees what a gigantic flop it is, and then he does this whole new thing that's all about what is it, like dancing around and acting like it's some jerk off. Why are you going to see the Savannah Bananas at Wrigley Field? Oh, good for you. Yeah, why don't we do that and give a bunch of more money over to the Ricketts family while they quietly help support the economic side of Donald Trump's and his handlers the keys to the highway so that they can put up a public-facing, overt fascist regime in the United States, the most powerful country in history. I don't know what you're doing. I don't think anybody was like, oh, okay, well, I marched a couple of times last year with the No Kings people. Good luck, right? That really worked out, didn't it? Made the whole world a whole different place. And, you tried to get in the way of the ICE people and stuff like that, and a bunch of people got shot, right? And they're still, like, creating these almost like internal black sites where they're just shoving people in, and you're just disappearing people left and right. You're out in the streets trying to block and trying to rape whistle the ICE teams, so that and I know our hearts are in the right place, but is it getting the job done? Is it? Or is it just sort of prolonging the inevitable and wasting a bunch of time when we really need to be forming significant institutions dedicated to the ending overall of the entirety of the fascist rollout in the United States? I don't know for sure, but I do know one thing is that it's getting worse, and things are already bad. All right, so with all that in mind, let's get to one last thing before we go, and that's of course we got some commercials. Sorry, I know it's everybody's favorite element within the show. Coming soon to your local multiplex indoctrination center from the producers of the Christmas classic Miracle on 34th Street. It's 34 Miracles on 1st Street. It's going to be fun for the whole family. The Addams family, that is. This is excuse me. And then 50 Shades of Greyhound. The new motion picture from the producers of 50 Shades of Grey, showing a bunch of people having deviant sex on the back of a bus. And coming next week, it's the 1950s movie classic starring a cast of vainglorious bastard upstart ne'er-do-wells with chronic diarrhea of the mouth, foisting their unique brand of useless pubescence, entitled The Barnacles of Narnia. It's a movie that features 3.5 hours of unflinching, unmoving parasitic shellfish clinging onto the sides of several flowing garbage barges in a fantasy land of profound weirdness where everything seems to be metaphorical tribute to fundamentalist Christianity. One barnacle professes a belief in intelligent design. Another proselytizes about birth control through abstinence, and a third preaches the gospel on what a sin it is to have gay people get married. It's just the type of surface-minded crap that a dope like you would suck down their throats like a frat boy sucks down a cold brew. It's the Barnacles of Narnia, now available at your local Brew and View. And finally, friends, no matter what day of the year it is, Christmas is never more than 364 days away. So why not reach out and get that special little boy or girl the new Little Endorphin Annie doll. Little Endorphin Annie lets out an occasional mist of mind-numbing, powerful, numbing drugs which allow your children to be more compliant and manageable. That's right. They'll never even see it coming as you find your calendar suddenly freed up for all those things you've wanted to do, like somnambulism or freelance taxidermy. Sometimes TV alone isn't, I can't post stupid freaking... Sometimes TV alone isn't enough to placate and zone out your kids, and you deserve better than having to get hooked on Valium just to keep from butchering the lot of them. Let your kids share the drug burden with the drug-emanating doll, Little Endorphin Annie. Paradise is just a phone call away. All right, let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this is going to be a pretty straightforward list. I'm not anticipating long-winded diatribes at the beginning or end of each and every one of these line items as per usual. So let's get to it. Number 10 of the top 10 worst pet names. Remember, these are worst pet names for you, which I think is going to be a gateway for you to be able to liberate yourself from conventions. And I think that's a good first step. Like a slap to the face. If your face was your soul and the hand doing the slapping was enlightenment. All right, so anyway, number 10 of the top 10 worst pet names, Hortense. Now, I don't know, Hortense was a name of some sort of, I don't know, not super duper popularity, but wasn't unheard of as a real actual person name for some reason. At some point, the world was so bad off that people, with somewhat amount of regularity, thought that Hortense was an acceptable thing to name a child. So, as bad as things might seem, look, I think this is a good lesson for us to see. At least people have figured out that not to do that to their kids. I mean, talk about sadistic, right? Anybody? That's right. Number 9 of the top 10 worst pet names, mouth fart. Now I could just see, you got like a cute little pug or, something, dachshund, a little wiener dog or something. You got a little, one of those Paris Hilton dogs, that you can bring onto the plane. Nobody know the difference. And you name it mouth fart. Come here, mouth fart. Come here, boy. Come here, mouth fart. Hula, mouth fart. Ooh. Mouth fart. And so, I mean, but like, let's be honest, you're sniffing those some of these dogs' breath. Mouth fart isn't really all that big of a stretch in terms of the reality of the situation. We go. All right, number 8 of the top 10 worst pet names: groin. I mean, that's a nice simple one that you can like put on the dog water bowl and stuff like that. You can have it. You can have a custom painted by some people out there trying to get a side hustle by creating customized paint jobs for doggy water bowls. I mean, that's right up the alley of a whole bunch of sort of people trying to earn an extra buck to stave off starvation or not having to go off their meds or losing the roof over their heads. Support local artisanship, goddammit. What the hell are you thinking? Why are you going to Cubs games when all these other real honest people who are still somehow holding on to some creative impulse are out there doing all these great, amazing things, and you're going like, I think I'll go see the Savannah Bananas at Wrigley Field. It's like, somebody's got their priorities all got your priorities all screwed up somehow, man. There's people out there trying to save the human spirit, and you just can't be bothered. All right, let's go to Disney World. Support the guys who trying to turn. It's basically like Disney World is like a giant shopping mall now. They take out all the individualistic rides and replace them with a bunch of movie themed rides from one of their movies. So they got they're merchandising you up and down. It's like a giant shopping mall where you just go through gift shop after gift shop for all your kids. Your stupid ass brainwashed kids are looking around going, and let's go to the Cars ride, and let's go do the Tron ride, and let's go do the they're getting rid of all the stuff that had any uniqueness to it whatsoever and turning it into a ride where you've got to go through the gift shop, the giant gift shop. So like the land, the use of the land is like, now it's like 90, it's like Epcot. The Magic Kingdom was like another Epcot where it's just an excuse for a shopping mall and like a food court. And so if you probably, and I'm guessing here, but probably if you look at the amount of square footage, probably talking about in Disney World, probably about 10% ride, about 30% food court, and about, what does that leave? 60% gift shop. And that's, I mean, and they don't care because they're jacking up the prices and they're making more money per guest so that they don't even have to have the undesirables around anymore, so they can turn it into, whites only Disney World, which is probably what they were angling for in the first place. Those rotten, bitch bastard closet Nazis over there at Disney. Number 8, groin. I mean, groin. Here, come here, groin. Come here, groin. Daddy loves groin. Daddy loves groin. Oh, yes. Let me introduce my co-host for today's show. It is, of course, ultra cheap / free online special effects console. Oh, they didn't like my groin joke. That disappoints Daddy. Daddy's disappointed with groin. Groin, go to your bed. Go lie down, groin. Number 7 for top 10 worst pet names. This one is really particularly awful. Abu Ghraib. That's right. Name your little kitty cat. Oh, look at poor Abu Ghraib. Is Abu Ghraib want to be cuddly? Is it cuddly time? Let's be cuddly. Let's cuddle up with Abu Ghraib. My putty tat. Abu Ghraib loves to sleep with me now. Oh, really? That's fascinating. Why don't you tell me more about your stupid-ass cat? My, oh my. I thought we were friends. You're not wrong, bitch. Now, when can I pick up that nickel bag? All right, so Abu Ghraib, you know, well, it doesn't matter. The top least wasteful thing about your cat is the amount of food that it takes out of the mouths of starving children throughout the world, because it just so happens, according to UNICEF, that the amount of money that we spend on feeding recreational pets is the same amount of money that it would take to feed the world. So I know it would be great if one of these stoic, detached, misanthropic billionaires would just take a little of their walking around money and use it to end hunger, because they could, and that's part of how we know that they're monsters, because they don't, right? But they're not doing it. So, I mean, it's up to us, and we have the power to do it. Now, I'm not saying about feeding the recreational pets to the starving kids. Well, am I not talking about that? No, I resist that notion. I'm talking about phasing out recreational pets and putting a charity together to say enough's enough, or something charity, and use it to finally feed everybody on Earth. I mean, it's astounding to me that we can't even get that right. All right, so number 6 is top 10 worst pet names. Dutch oven. Now, many is the time when the family pet is inadvertently, and probably, although we don't know for sure, but probably has served up an inadvertent Dutch oven to their owners at, various different times throughout their lives. It'd be like sitting around, you got the Carson show on, whatever, just paying no attention. Everything is great. You're zoning out. You've completely lost connection with reality, and you're just like kind of sitting there going, you've got that blissful ignorant vibe is going, like you're sitting around watching the TV, and all of a sudden your dog cuts the cheese and you're like, oh dear. And the Dutch oven occurs. So why not, use the name Dutch oven? And look, these are the top 10 worst pet names that I could come up with. Okay. Now, they're not intended to be like super family friendly, complacent rovers and, Beethovens and whatever you want to name your stupid ass pet ordinarily. But these are not ordinary times. These are extraordinary times that call for extraordinary measures. It's time to wake up. It's time to get used to the unconventional so that you can break the cycle of conformity. That's what this is about. So, for number 5, the top 10 worst pet names, my suggestion is Viscera, which is all the guts and goo and stuff like that. And don't start, looking at me like I'm some sort of whack job coming out of nowhere and stuff, because we all know the secret's out. You love Viscera. When I had, a production space that, had a small wacky gift shop attached to it, and one of the things that we sold a lot of, was serial killer coloring books. I am totally for serious right here. Serial killer coloring books were massively popular. And it was just like they have a variety of serial killers and stuff like that. And some of them were graphic depictions of them in kill mode and stuff. And, people are buying those things like crazy. It's a huge popular thing. So don't tell me Viscera isn't like a big, huge, every goddamn Mel Gibson movie, who you love because for a lot of reasons, whenever he's directing, there's like gobs and gobs of gooey guts and stuff like that, and you love that. You eat it up. There's Return of the King chapter of Lord of the Rings. 850 something people die in that movie. So you love viscera. Don't tell me that a lot of you out there, out of the 3 or 4 people that are allowed to see this, are thinking about like the whole idea of, viscera isn't too bad. It's pretty cool. It's whack. It's sick. Yeah, let's do it. Let's name the new French poodle Viscera. Number 4, the top 10 worst pet names. Baby killer. Now this perhaps is taking things a little too far. For the edifice of extreme satirical humor, I don't know. Whatever it is that you want to think of it, however it is you want to think of it as, I really don't care. I don't believe that most of the people that are out there in the world today have the cognitive skills to be able to reason themselves out of a paper bag. And so, it becomes more and more difficult to listen to people's opinions when you realize that their opinions have been co-opted completely, that they don't really exist. Free will doesn't exist anymore because there's no choice, because everything that we live, everything that we're immersed in is a big lie, is a big fantasy freaking fairy tale where we don't know what the truth is. We don't know how to make real decisions, because without the objective truth, you can't make real decisions. And you're just kind of going along with it forever, for decades upon decades, kind of like going like, hey, yeah, I'm going to do stupid stuff and I'm going to, like be conventional and stuff. I don't want to make waves. I don't want to step out of line. I don't want to be noticed. I don't want to think individually, although I do feel like an individual. I do feel unique, just like everybody else. But the fact is that I don't want to actually be seen as unique, because that's like sort of like, I don't know, it could get me into trouble. And I don't want to be in any trouble. I'm more than happy to give up all my freedom in order to be able to maintain our freedom. So I'm pro Patriot Act all the way. I want to take my shoes off, not just when I'm getting onto a plane, but I want to take my shoes off and go through a backscatter machine when I go into a restaurant, or when I go to see the Savannah Bananas at Wrigley Field. I want them to get steep and deep. I want them to take me to do special deep cavity searches for everybody. Everybody gets a deep cavity search at any place anytime they walk into a building. I think that we need to really just like sort of knuckle down and start to really get the terrorists weeded out and the undesirables and et cetera, as long as we, conform to the needs of our society and our culture and the political powers that reign above us, and pay tribute and tithe to them as if our lives depended on it, because they do. Our lives depend on them, making sure that they're happy. And why are we, rubbing their noses in their own incompetency? What do we do? What are we, nuts? The ingrates. That's how I feel. I honestly feel about it. I'm not going to, if you don't like giving your, pet goldfish the name baby killer, that's on you. I really honestly don't know where you're going with the whole goddamn thing. You just keep naming Goldie. What's your goldfish's name? Goldie. What are you, some kind of frickin' moron? Yes. I like it that way because no one gets hurt. Except, that everybody's getting hurt. And your willful and gleeful ignorance is allowing them to get away with murder all throughout the world. And their compliant toadies and lapdogs in the media will, do everything they possibly can to prevent those things from getting distributed in media. It's like, that's what I've been contending with all my life. I know it to be a fact because that's how they did it to me for 30 years while I tried to make the world a better place through empowering what's good in people. Good luck doing a peaceful revolution in this goddamn freaking place. All right, so the number 3 of the top 10 worst pet names. And this one, I think this one's kind of playful and insouciant. I think is the word I'm looking for. Ballsack. Come here, ball sack. Go fetch the ball, ball sack. I mean, it fits. Look, I mean, hey, especially if you had like a bull mastiff or a pug or something like that with a big, cute, oh, gorgeous little cute wrinkly face. Well, you take dumps 2-3 times a day that I put in the extra thick plastic bags and toss into the garbage to fill up landfills full of bags of dog turds and cat turds and urines and non-biodegradable kitty litter in giant, thick bags that will just sit in landfills forever, and then complain, proudly exclaim how what a great citizen you are because you use paper bags at the grocery stores. Ballsack isn't just the name for your pet, but it's pretty much the epithet that you should be saddled with. Does anybody get it? Does anybody know what epithet means? All right, so number 2, the top 10 words of... Is it some of the things that you're doing? I think this is a good one, too. I mean, I consider this for back in the day when I was going to name my artificial protective cup. Fratricide. Fratricide. It's an idea whose time has come. Anything that we can do to thin the herd, to call the numbers and stuff like that is just going to be helping out our overlords when they bring out the AI robots and have them, confine and or slaughter the entire human race while they, just get some Lebensraum for themselves. We will make the Lebensraum by eliminating the human race. The human race is the great unwashed. So fratricide is soon going to be like, might have like a volunteer thing. I'm guessing that they've got a pretty extensive sort of cable network for rich people only, and super rich, the billionaire class only, that shows that's what they're doing with all the cameras that they've got everywhere. I mean, because like they've got cameras everywhere now and GPSs and everything like that, and yet crime is still like pretty rampant. You'd figure that with them being crawling up each and every one of our asses as much as they have and as deep as they have, that they would have already kind of like ended crime, or at least degraded its power and frequency to the point where we'd have a much easier life of it on the street. But that doesn't really go along with the narrative. They're about to unleash a robotic police force to put us in line. So it's more than likely that they're going to create some kind of uprising or some sort of disease that makes it impossible for us to police ourselves. And then they'll be, and they'll have a network that I think that's out there, and that's the real reason they put these cameras up, so they can have intimate views of good people suffering from every angle, from lots of different angles. And that's what these cameras are all everywhere for, and they have the audio recordings of it. They have podcasts of people getting robbed and tortured and beat up and, criminal behavior situations, or black site prisons, or, where they're putting all these... that's probably why they're rounding up all these immigrants, is to put them in black site prisons so they can torture the hell out of them and create a whole new primetime TV series for this underground cable network of where the rich people watch good people get tortured. And I think that's, for fratricide, I think it's going to be becoming like, like the fratricide show is going to be like a big show, getting a lot of numbers when they start to thin the herd for real. When they, in the initial days of rolling out the AI robots, it's not going to be an immediate slaughter unless they unleash some disease or something like that as a pretext for destroying the human race, or means of destroying the human race. But they will have, the time to be able to do celebrity fratricides, where, the Baldwin brothers, duke it out for real, for survival. And then they'll have, It'll be like The Apprentice, where at first it was just like normals that they had as contestants, and then they'll step it up to a celebrity version of it. To be Survivor the Fratricide edition, and that's really what we're here for at this point for them, because they're about ready to start making all of their wealth and power and luxury items via AI robots. And so, I mean, that's the only reason they've kept us around for as long as they have, is because they're sponging off of us and letting us do all the work for them. Anyway, next up and final, we're up to number 1. Oh my God, what an incredibly fun time we've had here today with this tremendously insightful list. Inspiring, too, I think. Top 10 worst pet names. Number 1, Abomination. Oh, yes. Come here, Abomination. Who's a good girl? Abomination, yes. Woohoo! All right, well, that does it for us. Ladies and gentlemen, an incredible time it's been here on the Top 10 Worst of show. Tune in again tomorrow. At this point, for some reason, I'm still doing them every day. I don't know. I know that people aren't allowed to see these by and large. But I still feel like it's an important mechanism to test myself and to push myself further. It makes them funnier and edgier and more painful, quite honestly. But anyway, it's a type of thing that I feel is it's just super rare in our society. So I feel, uniquely empowered to be able to do this. But tune in again tomorrow for the top 10 worst of top 10 worst people where you really have to take a morning after pill upon humping. That's gonna be a good one. We're gonna name names and talk about real people and stuff like that. Ooh, boy, it sounds exciting. Well, come on back, y'all, and thanks for watching today. It's been a real pleasure, and let's try to get through all of this together. Huh? What do you say? Oh wait, no.